Okay, so what you've done now, when you've defined some of the characteristics of an individual character in a story, you want to try and think, basically deliberately think of the opposites. Think of the opposites of the claims that you are making in order to try and say something three-dimensional about the character and to evaluate them in a meaningful way. So we start here with the idea that he is protective and materialistic. Now, the counterclaim to this, the flip side of this, is that he has been successful in the world of business. So yes, he absolutely is materialistic and focused on his own material success and I guess his wife's to a certain extent. But this has allowed him to be successful in the world of business. So there's a counterclaim. Cruel, vindictive, takes pleasure in the suffering of others. Now, the flip side to this, being cruel and mean and vindictive, is that, I've got a spelling mistake there, of being cruel and vindictive, is that he is used to getting his own way. So he has been able to control the world or external circumstances and his relationships in that world. So yeah, he's vindictive, he's cruel, but that same trait in his personality means that he has been able to control the world and external circumstances and also his relationships with people in that world. And finally, is driven by anger and a desire for revenge. But that, I think, shows us that in many ways he's forceful and powerful. And accustomed to getting his own way. He's accustomed to success. So we've got a variety then of claims and counterclaims here that are the starting point for saying something evaluative about a character. Now we've got here, in this case, we begin with the negatives and then we're trying, I think, deliberately to think of positives because we know that he's an unpleasant character. And just because we're doing that doesn't mean that we're trying to say that overall he's a nice person. We know that fundamentally we're going to spend the majority of the time over here. His character is protective, materialistic, he's vindictive, he's driven by anger. So we've got a character that is predominantly negative. But that's not the full picture. And in order to evaluate a character properly, you have to think about the flip side to their negative traits. Or, if they're a positive character, think about the negative side to their positive traits. So this is step 2, thinking of claims about the character that you've begun with, and then the counterclaims that argue the opposite perspective.